Hey everybody, this is John from Legends of Tabletop. We have a sort of a strange episode for you tonight. I have with me Vince, as usual. We also have with us tonight Wolfe from the Nerd Sauce podcast. This is actually their episode 1 tonight, so we are going to be answering the questions instead of asking them.
We're being interviewed. Woo! Sorry,
So we're going to kick it. Yeah, you're not sorry at all.
That's all I have to interrupt you. It's part of the thing now. It's our shtick.
Yeah, it's kind of our shtick. So I'm going to kick it right over to Wolf and begin with just saying thank you for inviting us to come on, even though it's actually our podcast because we're hosting. But whatever.
Yeah, no, it's all good, and I appreciate you. I appreciate you guys coming on. It means a lot to us. Essentially, hit Nerd Sauce. Just to give a quick thing about what we are is. Well, anything nerdy, anything geeky. Focus a lot on tabletops, a lot of old school RPGs and strategy games and whatnot. So, all in a nutshell, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, yeah. So that's us in a nutshell. Anyway, see here, and yeah. So we do have a few questions to start it off. I'd like to have it kind of go off the rails, if you know what I mean. And just kind of banter back and forth for a while. But first things first, we have to know how you guys became the Legends of Tabletop.
I don't know if it's a funny story or not, but I got divorced in March. So that was sort of the
best thing that could happen to you.
Yeah. So last year when all this kind of started, I decided I was going to do a personal blog, kind of like a self-therapy and, just kind of get things out there. And, I talked to Vince about it, and I was like, I'm thinking about maybe doing a gaming blog, too. And I'm thinking, like, low-key WordPress, we'll just kind of throw some things up. And he was like, no, we got to do this whole thing. And I'm like, nah, I don't think so. That's not really No, we have to do this whole thing. So after going back and forth for a couple of weeks, I was like, all right, you know what, whatever, we'll give it a shot. We'll see what happens. And it really just sort of snowballed from there. We've only been doing this since June, so it's only been a couple of months, really. But it's been an interesting adventure so far.
I'm a big
well, I think you guys are doing a good job. So
domain name.
Thank you. What was that, Vince? We're both talking over you.
Yeah,
that's right. That's the story of my life. No, I'm a big believer in owning your brand, your name. Even if you don't plan on doing anything with it, own your name. In my case, VinceLaRosa.com. Whoever, just own your name. This way, if you ever decide to do something somewhere along the line, you have that as an option. So.
Yeah, some jerk-off has my name already.
Exactly. See. So.
See.
And if you can't get the exact, you get the next best thing.
Mm-hmm.
So.
That's how we got to Nerd Sauce. That makes you feel better. we can get the good stuff, so we had to go with secondhand junk that came down the line.
Well, Legends of Tabletop wasn't actually our first name. We ran into sort of the same scenario where we had a name that we both really liked, and it was taken. So.
Oh. That sucks. I hate when that happens.
Yeah, at least in some formats. I don't remember exactly where we got blocked up at, but there was, because we were trying to get WordPress.net.com, the whole 9 yards. We had a whole list Excel sheet full of names, and this was the one that finally won out.
Okay. Well, it's a good name.
Thank you.
It's pretty cool.
Good name. I like it. And actually, you guys were one of the first people that we followed on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
I saw your name and I thought, hey, I have to do this. Your Legends of Tabletop.
The word legend. Anytime there's legend in the title.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anytime there's legend or master or anything like that, I have to jump on board.
There we go.
Yeah. So a little bit of we have a little bit of your name now and a bit of background history with you. But what exactly would be your experiences with like game mastering and DMing and whatnot? Have you run many campaigns yourself, or do you usually let one person take over and go from there? Or?
Go ahead, Vince. You go first.
I really started out with the board game Dungeon and the electronic Dungeons and Dragons game back in the early 80s. And then in 1983, I picked up the red box set with the Elmore cover. You fight the warrior fighting the dragon, the iconic cover. And then it's been all uphill from there. I know I've mentioned this before. I don't want to bore everyone, but yeah, that's where I got my start with that amazing red box set. And then I dragooned my brother and friends around the corner, and every day under our friend John's parents' carport, we would game every day. Yeah, not that John, another John. But the longest campaign I've run was an Undermountain campaign back in 1991 when it was first released, and that ran for 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah, every Friday. So that was my social life.
That's definitely a fun run.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah, definitely. What about you, John?
I'd never played D&D anything growing up. My first exposure was second ed back in the early-ish 90s. Played in a campaign with the folks that introduced it to me for, I want to say, maybe about a year. Vince wound up going out with my ex-wife's one girlfriend, and that's how we actually met. And we decided to try to run some games, and I'd been out of it for a while, and when we sat down to play again, it's like, what the hell, this is stupid. Like, the group dynamic was bad. It was just, the whole thing didn't work out. But in 2008, when 4th edition came back out, he was like, oh, we should try playing again. And I was like, okay, I guess so. And
I'm always right. Always right.
You were right. And from there, for me, it just really kind of took off. I was on the Nerdbound podcast for a couple of years. I'm currently also on the Dragon Fisters podcast. They do Pathfinder actual play. I'm doing this now. So my gaming experience is, really encompassed since 2008, and it's just been like just blockbusters. So many different systems, so many games. Now we're getting into more of the board games and card games and stuff like that. So it's really just kind of blossomed in the last handful of years.
Yeah, well, to be honest with you, I've only been playing for about 4 years. Mm-hmm. I was scared of getting into Dungeons and Dragons because I knew it completely obsessed my life with it. So, so I was staying away from it. And then one day I finally got talked into it with a couple buddies of mine and took off. And now there's nerd sauce. So, we all take turns DMing and game mastering, but. I would say I have the longest campaign. We've been going for about 1.5 years with it now.
Yeah. Cool.
So it's a fun campaign, but it's challenging coming up with the background lore and just the character dynamics, and you always have that one guy that you just don't like. You know what I mean? That one guy who takes everything way too seriously or just doesn't give a shit about anything.
Yeah. There's the two extremes. No.
Yeah, exactly. And it was actually I spoke with John about this once, and I part of DMing one game was I had a dragon fall on top of one of my characters' heads and squished him. And
that'll do
it. Killed him on sight, right? And
totally.
Completely blew up, and I can understand you make these characters and whatnot, but the backstory was so out of place. And, the backstory was so out of place, and we were in like a medieval area, and he had like a Japanese backstory, and it just didn't work out. So have you ever had anybody who is that one guy?
Shall we go into the second DM story? We have one DM yet. What about second DM?
Well, we can.
Well, it's not a huge story. It's just a funny anecdote, I guess. My thing with DMing is I do like the rules as a guideline, and they even all dungeon master guides will tell you that, and most experienced dungeon masters will let you know that the rules are a guide. They're a
Yeah.
framework. And I will almost always sacrifice a rule for the sake of the role play, for the sake of the story. And sometimes John's not happy with that. It's gonna be in the middle of like, oh, you can't. You gotta roll it. I'm like, I don't care. It's awesome. It's good. Like in this the cinema of your mind, as it's taking place, you could see it. Like it works. Let's do this. And then he had said something in a rules lawyer way, and it was silent at the table for a moment. And I said, well, we have one DM, yes. What about second DM? And John is second DM. Anytime I need a rules lawyer, I always go to John. So it sounds like I'm complaining about it and I'm busting on him, and I am a little bit. But for the most part, I appreciate it because there are things that I don't remember as I'm trying to push the story forward in the plot that John will remind me of, and that's perfect. So I think with a little bit of tweaking, everyone should have a second DM. Unofficial, of course.
Unofficial, yeah.
And a cat, and a chair.
This one is a dick.
Well,
Yeah,
speaking
you know what? Cat DMs, they're the best ones.
Yeah.
They get mad,
Well,
they flip the
that-
table, they start throwing all the characters around, you know?
Yeah, well, that's what they're supposed to do. And John,
Yeah.
the chair that you're sitting in,
Yeah.
the back of it on either side of your shoulder looks like two wooden dildos. Sorry. There you go.
I didn't have that picture in my head until now, but I appreciate you. You.
There you go. So you gotta go. You have to douche.
It's definitely made my night.
There you go. It's not complete. An interview is not complete until you mention the two wooden dildos and the cat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, definitely. As long as they're not in the same sentence, it's good.
Exactly. No animals were harmed or pleasured during the making of this podcast. But that was the I don't even remember what the hell I was saying about the second DM. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't had anybody myself in any game that's really been problematic. I haven't run very many campaigns myself. I did Star Wars Saga Edition we did it sort of like an off month sort of thing. So our one player in Vince's campaign, we started a second campaign and he was running it. So like every third month or so, I was running Star Wars, and I hated every minute of Saga.
Oh, really?
I hated it. I hated all of it. Of course, it was the first game that I'd run, which may or may not have had something to do with it. I house ruled the shit out of it, and I told them in the front, like, what do you want to do? Do you want to stick to canon? Do you want to throw canon away? Do you want to, just go furries and screw Ewoks? Like, whatever you want to do, we'll do it. I don't care. And then once I moved out here to Arizona, I started another campaign with Glenn, the guy who was running that. And we play via webcam now. I have 2 actual players at the house and 3 people by webcam. And we've been running that game, I gotta say, it's probably about a year and a half now, maybe. But I'm always real, so my GM style is more like, hey, this is what's going on. What do you guys think? Or call for a check and say, does this make sense to you guys? As opposed to just saying this is the way it is and this is the way we're going to play it. Because I haven't run a ton of games and I want the feedback and want to make sure that everybody's having a good time doing it. So I'm a lot more flexible in that regard. Not that Vince is not, and I'm not taking a shot. I'm just saying, as opposed to people who think that I'm the DM and what I say goes. I don't appreciate that style of game mastering.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so more of an organic growth as opposed to on the rail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree with that. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, that's okay. I was interrupting you, actually, and I apologize. There have been times where... all right, when I DM, I'll have a general outline. The only thing I'm a stickler for is making sure I have the NPCs and the monster stats ready to go. The possible monster stats. But everything
Yeah.
else, I sort of pants. And there have been instances where players may come to an erroneous conclusion about the plot line, but it sounds really cool. So I'm like, yes, that we're going to go with that. So I'll make a note of it, and I'll push the plot line in that direction.
Yeah.
I really like like we were just talking about organic. I like that when the players are arguing amongst themselves, trying to figure out. It's like they've in that moment they've suspended their belief in reality and they're fully immersed in this world. And as a DM, that's really really cool. So you were kind of like shepherding or guiding the players at that point, rather than saying this is what you do and this is what you see. So I think that's for me that's the best for a campaign or even a one-shot game where the players are really leading and I'm just the guide.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. Actually, my main campaign, we've shot off the rails so many times, and it's better for the overall system, right?
Hmm.
And I'd come up with, I'd spend hours upon hours working on these amazing stories in my head, and they do something that's completely stupid that just throws everything off the rail,
Yep.
and next thing you know, I'm making up the rest of it. I'm pulling it out of my ass type deal, and
Exactly. And sometimes those are the best campaigns.
yeah, yeah, no, I completely agree. Everybody loves it, and everybody enjoys it. It's the only thing that they don't like is that a dragon fell on somebody's head. But you got to keep them on their toes, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, you got
Some,
to keep them on their toes because I find a lot of times they get too easily accepting that nobody's going to die.
hmm.
Okay, somebody will get knocked out sometimes, but nobody's going to ever die. And so I feel that even though part of DMing is trying to make sure that everybody has a fun time and keep them on track and whatnot, I feel you have to have that certainty, that uncertainty of, you can always die at any situation.
Yeah, that
Instead
tension.
of
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Instead of having every battle 3 goblins and they all run away as soon as one of them dies, right? So.
Exactly.
so,
Yep.
yeah, no, that's it. That's definitely the way I like to DM, and I'm glad that's what you like, and sharing input with everybody. That it means a lot. I find to the players as well, right? So it helps the campaign overall.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if nobody's having fun and nobody wants to say anything, then it's a lose-lose for everybody.
Hmm.
So it's better to get the feedback to really see, like, are you guys having fun? B, is it what you think it's, are we going in a direction that you want to go in? Are there things about your character that we've not brought up that you'd like to incorporate, or whenever those variables are, just to try to get everybody fully engaged, because then it's better for everybody.
Yeah,
Very true.
yeah, it's very true. Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. And and with the organic growth and whatnot, how do you feel about creating your own original settings and whatnot instead of just reading through a book and saying, okay, so this is going to happen next, this is going to happen next. What's your experiences with creating your own original campaigns and settings?
Um, for the most part, I'll take a published work and make it my own. That's easier time-wise for
Yeah,
me to twist it to my own liking and then add my own content or take things away. I'm a huge fan, and a lot of people will shoot me for this, but or not. But I love the Forgotten Realms. It's so rich and yet so open for DMs to create their own universe in, and I've always been
yeah,
fond of that. So, but yeah, I'll take a published work and then make it my own. I don't think I've really I don't think I've built anything from the ground up as far as a campaign is concerned. My own world, it's a little too daunting, I think, and time consuming. It's not the time. How about you, John?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing right now. The campaign that I'm running the players through now, I just had an idea that I wanted to see come to fruition. From various different sources, because of course, we're all stealing from somebody else. And I had a couple of set pieces that I was interested in putting together. One of which was essentially the major, climactic event in the beginning of Icewind Dale 2 when the goblins come and attack the town, which kind of puts you on your quest to whatever. So I more or less reenacted that scene. And then I wanted to take the normal conceit that, okay, you're going to work for a wealthy patron or you're going to do whatever, and they're going to get you going. Well, I took the major twist in the beginning was that the not really patron, but the person that they were going to wind up working for was actually a lich. So, I wanted to see how that interaction was going to be. Are they just going to try to kill it because D&D, or would they have the foresight to say, okay, well, why is this thing here? What's going on? And
Yeah.
and they did, and the one guy was like super against undead. So when he sent me his backstory, as we were getting the campaign started, I went, "Oh, this may really not end very well." But they all took it in stride, and they, there's, well, maybe we won't give them the artifacts, or maybe we'll do this or that. But they at least at first blush were like, "Okay, we'll try to help you." As a GM, for me, that was gratifying because again, the major D&D players just murder hobos. So I wanted to turn that dynamic up on its head and just kind of see where it would go. So, but I'm dumb,
Yeah, no,
so I'm doing my whole own thing.
Yeah. No, it's I've noticed that creating your own campaign, it is a daunting process, but it's a fun process too. You get to have something called your own, right? So, I'd like to actually write out what's happened in my campaign and publish it one day, because there's been so many different things that have happened, and so many different outside forces that have caused it to go the way it has, that it's become this massive universe, and we're only a third of the way in. You know what I mean? So it's it feels good knowing that people enjoy what you create. I find
sure.
that's the biggest accomplishment.
Yeah, no, definitely. I agree. And I had also had the same thought, was to take the games and compile it, and either do it in like a novel or a series of novels, or just to sketch it out, even if it never went any farther than that, just to kind of add some extra flavor and things. Because of course, when you're planning things, you have a certain idea of how you think things would go or should go, and players. So that's not usually what happens.
Yeah.
No, it very rarely happens the way you want it to, I find. So.
Oh yeah. I what you guys are talking about, I started several years ago. I have about 35,000 words of a novel that's based on that Undermountain campaign back in 1991. So I've been slowly chipping away at that. It really is, even if it doesn't go anywhere, it's just fun to do.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. Now, of course, I have to ask, what's your favorite dice? Your favorite color of dice that you have?
I'll go get them.
I have a crystal green set that was the original set that I bought, and I'm somewhat partial to that set. But I've got a bucket full of dice, and there's some. Yeah, I don't ever sit at the table with a set. I mean, if we're gonna play, like especially when I DM, I may have 15 or 20 D20s just sitting on the table, because as soon as one starts rolling bad, it's out. And I'll just,
Yeah.
Oh, here you go, John. Here's a blast from the past, which I still use, or had used up until recently, but is Rodney.
Oh.
He's a snowman. He was an animated snowman that I used like 3 or 4 years ago. And the Disney movie ripped me off, fuckers. But here you go. This is, I think it's called Lava. It's yeah. And then I have this.
Oh yeah, that's a nice one.
Yeah, then I have this from ThinkGeek. It's the 20 sire that glows when you.
Oh yeah.
See if it.
That's pretty cool.
Come on. There we go. I think it did it. Yeah,
nice.
There you go. Nope.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. Yeah.
You crit.
We
We
should
got a
put out a
crit.
warning. We should put out a warning that if you're sensitive to seizures, you shouldn't watch
You
this.
should definitely not use that.
It's- yeah, no, it's yeah. I always love hearing backstories of people's dice. 'Cause I'm the exact same way. I use 5 sets whenever I play. I have 32 d6s sitting beside me at all times.
Only 32.
Only 32. Yeah, no, I bought. Well, if you include my other sets, then it would be what 37. 37 d6s that I have sitting beside me at all times because y- you, they roll bad once. I'm throwing them out the window basically, right? So
They have to be exercised.
Yeah,
yeah,
you can
no,
definitely play
definitely.
Shadowrun with all those.
Yeah, it was actually a Shadowrun dice set that I got.
Oh, there you go.
I use them for everything. So Traveler, Hackmaster, D&D,
Oh, you
Pathfinder.
play Hackmaster? Cool. I'm
Yeah,
a huge
Hackmaster.
Knights at the dinner table. Yeah.
Yeah, no, Hackmaster. I love the battle system. Character creation takes years, but I mean the battle system is so fun.
Cool. I've been wanting to play. I haven't played yet.
Yeah, no, it's a really fun system. My one of my buddies bought the Hackmaster books and decided that he didn't want them anymore, and I want to buy them off of him. I just don't have the cash for it right now.
They're expensive.
But, yeah, no, the books are they're so nice too. They look the art is amazing inside of them.
Yeah.
Like definitely top notch, 10 out of 10.
It's worth it to buy them. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Having a PDF, it's just not the same.
No.
No, it's nice to be able to flip through the pages.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a lot easier.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of the PDFs. I usually wind up printing them out and just carrying them around then.
Yeah.
You must buy the book, you cheap fuck.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to play Hackmaster. I have some things on PDF, and I never look at them hardly ever.
I'll get the PDF and then decide if I need the book down the line.
Yeah,
that's the way I do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way I do it. But yeah, no, it's definitely a lot better having the books in my opinion. Now, do you guys have any stories of any funny moments of any previous games that you've played, like really outrageous moments where you wish you had a camera on so you could record it or something like that?
Oh shit.
Well, actually, you do, and I think it's on our website when Chris burns his hand on the candle.
Oh, it is. Yes. This is funny. It's on it's on the website. I'm a huge fan of props. I've always liked the game by candlelight, providing everyone can see, and we could.
Yeah.
And there's a mishap with the hot wax. Yes. So
You really kind of have to listen to it. I mean, there's.
You ever hear the Wilhelm scream? That's like it could be Plan B for a backup Wilhelm scream. My brother takes the candle and for whatever reason he tips it over and the hot wax pours on his hand. He looks at it for several seconds and then screams, "Fuck! Ah!" and screams, and then grabs this paper bag that he had bagels in and tries to rub the hot wax off. But there's a series of other people burning their hand after. It's just one after another, this ridiculous sequence of events that's just too funny.
What is this? This dark cultist event or something like that?
Exactly, yes. The ritual gone awry.
Yeah.
Don't play with hot wax. Well, we're not going to go there.
Well, you can if you want. I'm open to suggestions.
That's right. Well, John's got the wood. Never mind. All right, so yeah, that was a very and that was when was that? Holy shit, that was like 1996. So we're really dating ourselves here.
Well, you are.
Shut up, you fuck.
I don't have a really good in-game story, really, that I can think of. I had a player come to the game high one time, which was not very enjoyable.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, that was a very frustrating evening.
Oh shit.
Um, the best story that I think that I have involves Vince. We used to play in our basement at our old house, and it was around Halloween time,
No, I
and
remember
he
this
he
bastard.
calls me or texts me or something and says, I'm seeing this girl, and I want to bring her over so she kind of check it out, like she might be interested in playing or whatever. And I'm like, all right, cool. I immediately got off the phone with him and called every other player and like, we're totally getting dressed up tonight. I'm running to Party City right now. Tell me what you want. I will spend hundreds of dollars. I don't care.
Pretty funny.
So there was various levels of acceptance of that. But I ran to Party City. I picked up a big Viking helm. I got weapons and a cloak and elf ears, all kinds of crazy shit. So he comes over and we're all downstairs. We're sitting around a table. We're all dressed up.
I'm like, this is not how it usually goes.
So the stairs are here. The table's like way back over here. So he comes in. They come down the steps. So they don't know anything until they get to the bottom of the steps. And he stops and just looks. And I'm like, dude, you didn't wear your fucking costume. Come on, what's going on? And he's like, no. Her face just went like white. It looked like she wanted to run back up the steps. It was great.
It was not a pretty sight. It was humorous, though. Actually, I do have another funny anecdote. Do you remember the NPC Null that I had?
Yeah,
Bruner?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what I'm going to say next, don't you?
I don't.
You should. You and your ex. Well, we were playing. I had this NPC. He was was a Null. Poor Gruner. Alas, we knew him well. He had above average intelligence, and he wound up using magic. But anyway, and was very concerned with his smell. So he would put cologne, try to put cologne on himself and whatnot to smell better. But anyway, so he was an established NPC, and you and your ex were going somewhere. And in an email thread, I had said, okay, well, if you guys maybe we'll play anyway since it's scheduled, and we can either run your characters for you, or Gruner can pick up the slack. And I remember your ex emailed me telling me off because she didn't want some other person at the table running their characters. And I looked at the email, I'm like, what the fuck? It's an NPC. What are you talking about?
I do vaguely remember that.
It was this whole long, you're an asshole, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I don't believe this. It's not even a real person. NPC, it's a Null. It's made up.
Oh man,
Poor Gruner.
that's
Fun times.
That's
Yes.
wonderful. I don't think I have anything that can top that.
Wow, shit.
Yeah. No, I'd have to say the coolest thing that I've done. It's not really funny, but I was playing. It was a Japanese themed campaign, and I was playing a samurai. Had this ginormous Nodachi. It was like, what was it? I think it was huge, and so I was taking like massive penalties with it, and the DM summoned a kraken, and and we're on a ship, summoned a kraken, and we were fighting this kraken for 20 minutes. Eventually got it down to fairly low health, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna jump off the ship and stab it in the eye.
Nice.
And so I did all the checks, landed 20s on everything. Like, it's just perfect.
Nice.
And right square in the pupil, I landed with the giant Nodachi in the eye, killing the kraken, and then my character couldn't swim. My character ended up drowning.
I forgot that part.
Yeah, so my character, I didn't think I was actually going to kill him, and character drowned. Couldn't handle it.
Hey, if you're gonna, that's a good way to go, though. That's very honorable.
Yeah, exactly. Saved everybody's lives. So
Exactly. Sweet.
That's pretty good.
yeah, I'd say that's probably the coolest thing I've done. I had a bad backlash, but it was pretty fun.
Nice. Now,
Yeah.
what's your favorite campaign setting? You strictly Dungeons and Dragons all the way, and other stuff is
Um,
peripheral.
well, my 3.5 is my main that
Hmm.
I run. We do 5.0 with one of my buddies. He campaigns it. Um, I love Traveler. Traveler is an amazing system in my opinion.
That's been
Um,
around forever.
I'm sorry.
That's been around forever too.
Yeah, Traveler. It's been around for a long time, and it's a really fun system. I really like it, and um, so I'd have to say it's a toss up between 3.5 and Traveler. To be honest, what about you
Cool.
guys?
Go ahead, Vince.
Yeah, for the most part, Dungeons and Dragons. I got my start with that, so it's always has a special place in my heart.
Yeah,
Um, I haven't played. Let's see, Star Frontiers, um, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, um, BattleTech, um, Shadowrun. What else? Warhammer, the fantasy.
yeah.
I think that's it. Not many.
Hmm.
Not many. You, John?
Well, being on a couple of different podcasts now, I played. I mean, D&D is my go-to. I'm more of a fantasy guy. Played tons and tons and tons of fourth. I haven't had an opportunity to really play too much fifth. Rogue Trader, Death Watch, Dark Heresy, Fear Itself, Trail of Cthulhu, both Gumshoe system.
Oh
That's a
yeah.
lot of fun. We play. My brother and I have a BattleTech game that we play on Fridays, although we're in hiatus right at the moment. Not the role play, but just giant robots shooting each other.
Yeah.
Uh, Call of Cthulhu. Now we played last week. Shit, I don't
Yeah.
know. I played a ton of different games, and some of them with base of rules for one thing, but like different theme. Like back on Nerdman, we did a pirate themed, very mini campaign, like two sessions, which wound up being maybe about 4 or 6 episodes or something. But like we had like Thunder Blunderbuss and some other stuff. But D&D is a base rule system. Uh, I like Crunchy usually because you get into all the minutia and
Hmm.
all that kind of stuff. I enjoy that. Fifth is nice. It's more rules light. A little bit of experience I have with it. I like it. But yeah, I'll play almost anything.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah,
So I'm glad
John and I
you.
used to play. John and I used to play BattleTech back in what, 97, 98. Every week. Remember that? And
We never played a ton.
your
We
damn
played a little
cat,
bit.
fucking Misty, that thing with.
Oh, she was the evil bitch.
I had to watch where I stepped. Yeah, it would just like come out of nowhere and call the shit out of you.
Oh yeah, she she was great with us. She would sit and she would lay with us and everything else. People came in the house. She was like a demon. She tried to
Oh,
claw my buddy's eyes out one night. Like it was bad.
and no exaggeration. Remember the time she cornered your mom and she had to call your dad to come get her?
She wouldn't let her out of the foyer.
Fucking cat.
Uh,
It's
yeah.
crazy.
Like I said, she was good with us.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Anyway. Nobody, as long as your eyes weren't clawed out, right? So.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
No limbs were lost.
yeah. So how do you guys feel about homebrewing rules?
I've done it a ton. I mean, that Star Wars campaign, I don't even know if it would have been recognizable very much as a Saga game. Um, I made up so for my current campaign, I made up a fumble table that we use. I tried to implementing some called shot rules, which nobody's really kind of taken up on. Obviously, something like trying to bullseye somebody's kidney or whatever. You're looking at a -5 or 10 or something. Most people aren't gonna jump at that chance, but we
Yeah.
tried to make it somewhat more specific so that we could then maybe generate some effects. So like if you wanted to target the head, then maybe you hit them even with a sword, they're wearing a helmet, maybe then they're stunned. So it kind of snowballs from there, but it didn't really take off too much. D&D for the most part, I'll run it fourth edition as it is. I have a fairly good handle on the rules set, so we're able to run with that fairly well. I'm not above taking suggestions when we play. If maybe somebody wants to use a skill that I wouldn't necessarily think would be appropriate at the time, which isn't really house ruling, but just kind of going with the flow of what's going on with the game.
Yeah.
Vince?
Yeah.
Do what?
House ruling?
Pretty much the same. Not too many fumble charts. Wandering monster things. Yeah, not too much. Trying to think in the past what I've done. For a while, I had instituted if you roll a crit for both the monsters and the players. If a crit is rolled, it's double damage. Yeah, not too many. No. Just not that I'm against it. I just never really. I don't even give it much thought. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, when it comes down to role playing and bartering and stuff like that, I like to kind of homebrew the rules a little bit around how well they role play. So if they're role playing really well with a shopkeep, let's say, and they want to get a +1 on a great sword or something like that, I'll give them like 10% off or 15% off or something like that. I'm not going to say no, you have to do this, and it all depends on role playing, right? How well they can role play, in my opinion. If they can't role play, there's no point doing it.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, Vincent's not for. I don't think it was for role play, but in character, like good ideas or something like that. There was a that's brilliant card, so to let you add a D6 to a future roll. Yeah.
Yeah, I would put. Yeah, that was brilliant cards. It was something that was like, oh wow, that's innovative. That's cool. That's novel. I would give out the card, a little artwork on it, and there'd be on the bottom right hand side there'd be what D6 die roll you get to use, whatever. So if you failed something that was like within 1 to 6 of your target, you could use that and then potentially make the roll. So.
Which isn't really game breaking, Just adding a D6, you could technically still miss.
Yeah. But it was kind of cool to have. I forgot about that.
Yeah. I started doing something similar, but mine was based more strictly around role play. If we get a good session or, like you say, good interaction with a NPC or something like that, I was pretty free with, giving some bonuses and things like that. And, they can only use one card at a time or one token at a time. You couldn't stack them up and save them for one roll, but anything that helps to facilitate the role play, I'm all for that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. No, it brings me back to that one guy, right, who doesn't take anything seriously at all, and is just like, oh, I attack that guy. That's it.
I attack my fellow characters. Yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel about that? People that want to attack their party members.
I don't know if I've. Oh, wait a minute. I know what you're laughing at now. Oh, fuck. We're not live. I doubt that. Yeah, this actually went into the realm of. Come on, wait, 13th grade here? But yeah, go ahead, John. You can start off, and I'll add stuff in.
Okay. I was telling Wolfe this story off here the other day. We were chatting a little bit. We had a guy who I was with, playing in Vince's group at the table before I moved out here, and my character over a period of maybe 2 or 3 sessions was experiencing a slow, almost a mental breakdown. He was an assassin who was a worshiper of the Raven Queen, and I, outside a game, had asked Vince, like, hey, can I get a Raven just, for role play flavor, just to have him sitting on my shoulder or whatever. And he was like, yeah, sure, whatever, that's fine. Well, I'm here in Arizona. I get the Raven, and like right as combat is beginning to start, this Raven lands on my shoulder. Well, he's texting me, so the players don't know what's going on, but the
Yeah.
Raven is talking to me. So my guy loses his shit, like, holy fuck, the Raven Queen is talking to me through this Raven. So
Yep.
he's like on his knees in the middle of combat, like freaking out, talking to this Raven and stuff. So very clear indicators that the guy was kind of going off the deep end. Just maniacal laughter in the midst of combat, like rushing headlong into battle as a squishy guy. Like I just run to the front and try to stab the guy in the face. So we get a little further into the campaign, and one of the characters steps through a portal and sees like an undead army or something on the other side. So he comes back and tells us, my guy's like, we have to take care of that right now. It's an affront to the Raven Queen. We can't have this. And this other player, who's same age as we are, 40 something, I guess, been playing since first edition, everything else, so long time. He says something to the effect of, well, fuck the Raven Queen. We don't have time for that or something. So my guy gets up behind him, yokes him up, knife to the throat. What the fuck did you just say? You don't talk about the Raven Queen. So, like, super high tension at the table.
Oh yeah.
And like, and we kind of played it off, but you could tell, like, even from his play from after that, and I wasn't even there, that he was not happy. So,
what did he say? He's like, I'm gonna have to kill you. I'm just gonna have to kill you.
yeah, and I didn't cut him. Like, there was no dice rolling. It was completely flavor.
Yeah.
And the guy like just
interaction. I thought it was,
and it was not to make the excuse, oh, it was just my character would do it. It was completely telegraphed up to that point that the dude was literally losing his shit. So
Yeah.
I talked to Vince about it, and he was like, no, I think he's okay. So I sent him an email. The guy never responded to the email. We come to another session, and we get into some combat, and I'm like, I need healing. Are you going to heal me or not? Like, where are we at? And he's like, well, what? I don't know. And the guy wound up leaving the group, and I think specifically because of that. And I can't imagine that in 20 or 30 years of role playing, he had never experienced an inter-party conflict.
it was
Yeah.
very strange.
That didn't even come to blows. Like I said, I didn't even cut him. It didn't even draw blood, but he just completely lost it.
Yeah.
And that was my fault, I guess. But I mean, even went so far as to email him in real people space and say, hey, look.
Yeah, he tried to smooth it over.
Yeah, this is where the
Yeah.
character's at. These are the things that have been happening. It's clear that this is what's going on. Man, wanted no parts of it. So. Whatever.
Oh, what are you supposed to do, right? That's that's a lot like with with what happened with that guy that I dropped the dragon on him, and he completely lost. He's like, oh, I was the most prepared person, and he's arguing with me, and I'm the DM at that point. Like, I am the DM, right? And he's going, I was the most prepared. I had 50 feet of rope. I had a 10-foot pole. I had this. I had that.
I had
I'm
the
like, well,
entire
50 feet of rope
adventure
and a 10-foot pole isn't going to save you against tens of thousands of pounds of rock and dragon.
And let's be fair, you told me the guy rolled a 1 on a dex check, so the only person he had to
exactly.
blame was himself.
Exactly. He rolled a 1 on his dex, and everybody else rolled fairly high, and he's like, but I was the most prepared. That was his argument. I was the most prepared.
Clearly not.
Yeah, exactly. Clearly your dice weren't.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, that would be my closest to having something like that happen. It completely changed everything. Because future games that we played together, he was very hesitant to do anything with me playing, and it's been months now since we played in the same game, and I can't help but think it's because I killed his character. And the thing is, what was going on with the campaign is there was a lot of dragons, and there's these magic ballistae that are shooting these dragons out of the sky, and they were in dragon territory, so you know it could have
Totally
happened.
conceivable that they could get crushed by a dragon ass.
Exactly, exactly.
Yes.
And I don't care what your strength modifier is. If 25,000 pounds of dragon comes landing on you, you're not gonna survive it.
No,
Hmm.
it's a funny anecdote too. You can tell your friends.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. Embrace the dragon ass.
Yeah. Well, everybody else was kind of somber about it, right? Because they were like, oh well, he just died, so we're gonna have to bury him and stuff like that. Meanwhile, I was explaining to the group that he was like literally mush. You can't you
Nothing to
can't.
bury.
Yeah, there was nothing to
Spread
bury,
them
and so
on
they said,
toast.
yeah, and so they set it on fire and stuff like that. And it was early in the campaign too. I think they were level 3 or level 4. So it's not like this guy had put, 20, 30, 40 hours into
He
this
didn't have a lot
into
of
this
history.
guy. Yeah, he
Yeah.
didn't have a lot of history. He wasn't playing the character the way he wanted to play the character. And I believe he was a chaotic evil, and he was playing him as lawful good.
That's weird. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and so his backstory, like his backstory, I don't know if you know the Nine-Tailed Fox, but basically it's this demigod who is killing for living in the spirit and killing for the spirit essentially, and he wasn't playing it anything like he was supposed to,
Gotcha.
and so it was no real loss to the actual campaign story, right?
It was a
But
boon, everyone. It was yeah.
yeah, he was that guy who had a character out of place, didn't have a good backstory. In fact, he stole his backstory from like this anime show, and it's like,
Wah, wah.
so I felt bad at first, and I thought to myself, you know what? It's not my fault that he doesn't know what he's doing, and he rolled a 1. So could have been
Yes,
anybody.
that's true.
Could have
The
been
dice don't
anyone.
lie. The dice don't lie.
It's true. It's true.
Here's a
That's how,
question for
that's how
you.
you became the Legends of Tabletop, right?
Exactly. Here's a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you roll in front of your players or behind your DM screen?
Some roles I do behind the DM screen, so things that random encounters and stuff like that,
Okay.
and monster to hits. The only thing I roll where they can see is the damage,
Gotcha.
so that
Okay.
they can see that I'm not lying about the damage. Like, there was this one time I rolled a crit,
Hmm.
and it was this big hulking ogre, and smacked this guy and smacked one of the guys, and I said, you just took 27 damage. He's like, no, I didn't. You faked it, and you just don't like me. And
What?
I'm like, okay, I'll roll it for you then. And I rolled it, and he ended up taking 36 damage. So,
Well, that's
so
karma.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I keep it in my in my head to roll damage where they can see it, so that way they can't argue with it.
Mm,
But they're
yeah.
just gonna have to accept if they got hit or not, right? So, plus that
Gotcha.
way, if they're dying, something like that, or I know they're gonna die from a hit, and that character is an essential part of where I'm pushing the story to, I can
Mm.
you know
You can fudge
throw
in
in
their
that.
favor. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I can throw in that DM power and say, oh, he missed. Just scraping off the pauldron or something like that. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Cool. All right, hold on, guys. I have to go to the bathroom, so talk amongst yourselves. I'll be back.
Sure, sure.
Okay.
I in the beginning I used to roll completely behind DM screen just for that reason. If you can fudge either way. If your dice are just horrible that night and you can't hit with a monster, oh, he hit. Yeah, I rolled an 18. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
And like you said, if you know a character may actually go down from it, you can go, oh, he missed, or he didn't roll a crit, or whatever it is. Uh,
Yeah.
but I've taken to more recently just rolling everything out on the table and just let things fall where they may. And if they have an easy night, they have an easy night. So be it. You're entitled to those every once in a while.
Yeah. Yeah. No, definitely. But yeah, it depends on the group too that I'm playing with. I
Hmm.
find if it's a more serious group, I'm more apt to roll outside the DM screen. so that way they can, they have a little bit more of a knowledge. If it's just a one-off or something like that, I roll basically everything behind the screen. So that
Mhm.
way I can kill them and they don't know about it, right? So, because the one-off characters, I like seeing them. I like seeing them perish. I know that makes me a bit of a sadist or whatever, sadistic, but if it's a one-off, I like seeing them suffer.
Mhm.
I like making it really hard for one-offs, so that way I like doing high-level one-off campaigns. So level 10 plus
Right.
one-off campaigns, I love them, and like I said, I'll keep everything behind the DM screen, and if I don't like what somebody's doing, they keep getting hit. You know what I mean? So,
That'll learn them.
yeah, that'll learn them. Be an ass to me and watch what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't run myself a lot of just one-shot campaigns. I've been, with all the podcasting, I've been in a bunch. Um,
Yeah,
and we actually we talked about this on our podcast, introducing new systems and how to go about it and the trials and travails of the whole thing.
yeah,
I think a lot of groups they'll they get
No one
introduced with
cares.
D&D and they'll play, and that just becomes the norm. We just play D&D. Why would we play anything else? Um,
yeah,
so that can be problematic if you are interested in playing a lot of different things, or branching out and trying something new, really trying to convince people to give something, even just a one shot. It's like, oh, I got to read a book and I've got to
I
learn a
can
whole
buy stuff.
thing. Yeah. So I don't mind, and like, to go back to what you said before, a PDF is nice for that.
yeah,
You can just kind of give it a try and see and test the waters, and if it's something that gains some legs with the group, then maybe one or two people go out and buy the book. If it doesn't gain any traction, unless you just like to buy RPG books, there's not a whole lot of point to it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I completely agree. But speaking of buying, and I know you guys are legends of tabletop, but have you heard there's a new Dungeons and Dragons game coming out for the PC?
Is that
Oh,
the
but
Daggerdale thing?
Sword Coast Legends, I think.
Sword Coast Legends,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
You
yeah.
guys, have you guys heard much about it?
A little bit. I don't even know when it releases soon, isn't it?
Yeah, it's coming out in the next couple weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, and
A lot of buzz.
I'm. Pardon me?
A lot of buzz about it. A lot of talk about it. Although I do not know
Yeah, no,
details.
yeah, no, it looks really good, and you can set up your own campaigns in it, and DM your own games through it, and essentially it's like playing Diablo, but it's D&D with
Okay.
the
Very
with
similar
the
to
DM.
Neverwinter,
Yeah,
DM engine.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly. It's
Sweet.
really cool. You guys should check it out. It's a really good game. It looks like a really good game. I've watched a lot of gameplay footage of it, and definitely something that we're going to be doing on our channel. I know that. Just to
Sweet.
throw that out there.
All right.
But
Cool. Check it out.
Now,
yeah,
is this
definitely.
like an online, like a Warcraft kind of thing, or is this more like Icewind Dale or Neverwinter Nights? Is it that sort of a scenario?
Yeah, it's more like Neverwinter.
Hmm.
You can play with up to 4 people in your party, and I think they only have 5 classes and 6 races starting off. Um, but I'm sure they're going to have downloadable content coming out left,
Sure.
right, and center after that.
Yeah.
And they have DM. The DM module is supposed to be absolutely amazing in this one, so
Hmm.
it's definitely something worth looking at if you want to run a PC based campaign or something like that.
Cool.
Interesting. Well, I'm on the site here. It's coming to PC, Mac, and Linux October 20th.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Right around the corner.
Yep.
Sweet.
yeah, and the digital edition doesn't really give you much. The digital deluxe edition doesn't really give you much, and unless you want a big plastic statue, there's no sense getting the collector's edition. but,
Another thing to dust
uh,
off.
yeah, exactly. I have a bunch of dragons behind me actually, so it's it's always fun. So gotta love cleaning those little nooks and crannies
Oh
in
yeah.
those dragons. And I have a couple lead figures as well,
Hmm.
and I keep them in plastic cases because if I don't, I'm so scared that they're gonna break. Because
Mm.
they're actually Warhammer guys,
Oh, okay.
and they look amazing. They're like big paladin-like, massive swords though, but huge, massive armor. And I brought one home, or I brought 6 of them home because that's what you do with Warhammer. And
You can't buy
so
just one.
Yeah.
you can't buy just one. So it's like potato chips, can't eat just one, right? So
That's right. Exactly.
yeah, so I brought them home, and 2 of them had broken swords because they're made out of lead, right? So it's like,
Yeah.
well,
It's very soft. Yeah.
I'm yeah, exactly. So I keep them in lead cases, and I never use them. But at least lead cases. Sorry, plastic cases. I'm talking too much about lead.
Yeah.
I'm scared that there's going to be a nuclear holocaust or something like that going on for them.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, no, that's yeah, no, I'm glad you guys came on for the podcast, and I really appreciate you guys coming on. It's been a pleasure speaking with you.
Yeah, same here.
And
Thanks for having us.
oh, no problem. Like I said, thanks for being who you are and what you're doing. It means a lot to us. And on behalf of both Ray and Peter, who weren't able to make it due to not having a webcam and mic issues and whatnot, they wanted to say hi and wish you guys the best of luck with everything as well.
Hey,
Ray and
guys.
Peter, you'll see this later.
Yeah, we'll catch you
Yeah,
on
see you
another
later.
one. Yeah. Well, webcam is not necessarily required. I mean, when we played on Saturday our Call of Cthulhu game, Neil just left his camera off, so
Same with me. Yeah.
yeah, so that's not really too big a deal.
Okay, well, for next time. For next
Mhm.
time, anyways. I thought this would be a good video stream, anyways.
Mhm.
So
Definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I mean,
yeah,
it'll bounce to a blank screen, when whoever doesn't have a webcam is talking, but that's okay.
yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The more the merrier.
the more the merrier. Yeah, definitely. Conversations start going better, and I'm sure your chair posts will agree that the more the merrier
Hmm.
as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
So, so
Cool.
anyways, guys, I've run out of questions for now, and it was a pleasure speaking with you. Again, I'm glad that you guys were able to make some time to speak with me here, and if there's anything that you guys have or want to shout out to, be my guest.
Definitely, yeah. I look forward to doing something again in the future, either getting you on or getting a game together or doing anything. For us it's more about the community, trying to get everybody together and kind of just bring people together through games and enjoying games and stuff like that. We're definitely open to doing all different kind of stuff. There's no reason to be real. No, this is our thing, and we don't want you, and we don't want to talk to other people.
Yeah.
Because what's the point then? I mean, people
We're
are
all-
listening, and you want them engaged. So.
Yeah. We're all about the
Yeah.
fucking camaraderie.
Hmm.
No, I completely agree. It's good for us to stick together and do things together because it sucks when you have to do it yourself, right? So
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Keeps you busy, that's for sure.
yeah, definitely. I know you guys at
Yeah.
big scheduling, just trying to get you guys in for an hour. So I I believe it.
Cool.
Yeah. So again, thanks guys for coming out and speaking with me here. And yeah, I'll keep you guys posted for any games that we might be doing, and vice versa. I hope you guys keep us posted, and we're more than
Okay.
happy to run some games with you.
Cool.
Cool, excellent.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay,
Sounds
great.
good.
Well, I again, I can't thank you guys enough, and I hope everybody who's listening has a wonderful rest of their whatever they're listening at, and
That's right.
and have a good rest of your day or whatever it is. But
Wherever you're at out there in TV land.
Yeah, wherever you're out in TV land or podcast land, make sure you subscribe to us and follow us on SoundCloud and iTunes and all that fun jazz.
Oh yeah,
And
Definitely,
leave
definitely.
comments. Leave comments. Let us know what's going on. Let us know
yeah.
what you think.
Go on our site and vote. Damn it.
Yeah. I promise I'll do it right after this.
Cool.
You'll see one pop up. You'll get an email in the next 15
There you
seconds.
go. Yep. Do one more.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool. All
That's
right.
cool.
All right, so we'll wrap this up then here. Thank everybody for checking it out. Like Wolf said, you can email them with questions, comments, and concerns. We hope you'll do the same with us. You can reach us on Twitter, on our comments section, on our Gmail. I mean, there's plenty of different ways to get a hold of us. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like. Without that feedback, we're just kind of floundering around here doing our own thing. So that feedback is always important. And thank everybody for checking it out, and we'll see you next time.
See you guys.
Word.